to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live. Great day today, special day today for a lot of reasons, but today is the launch day of a brand new book by Dr. John Townsend, People Fuel. P-E-O-P-L-E F-U-E-L. People Fuel. And John is in the studio with us. John, as soon as you find that button, we'll eliminate the echo. John, welcome to New Life. How are you?
I'm so glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, this has to be a great day for you because I love this book. I love your cover. You know, I'm very critical of book covers.
As well, you should be.
Having had one of the ugliest covers ever assigned to my book about 20 years ago. But People Fuel, most people have read Boundaries if they are a Christian. If they haven't read it, they should question their faith. And this one is another one of those books that's great. We're going to do some teaching from this, or I want you to do some teaching from it. But before we do, I just want to mention a couple of things. There is a free assessment tool. You buy this book, and then you get access to this wonderful assessment tool on bonding, boundaries, reality, and capacity. Also, I want to be sure that you take a second to remind everybody about the Townsend Institute for Leadership and Counseling.
All right, where do I start?
Townsend Leadership Institute for Counseling. A person would want to join that online or go on campus at Concordia because they would be interested in what? What would be the reason to go there and not to a school in Scandinavia?
Number one is because of your passion. I believe that God put a passion to do something really significant in all of us, Steve. And so many of us are in that point of life where, okay, I like what I'm doing, but there's something else inside me. And we provide a fully online master's in counseling, master's in organizational leadership, or a master's in executive coaching consulting. Plus, we provide certificates. And if you don't have a bachelor's degree, we now provide a bachelor's degree to get you so that you can enroll in this. So if you have a passion, a dream for being a great counselor or running an organization or coaching people, we are fully accredited, and we're so excited about it. We've got hundreds of students around the world that are in the Institute. In fact, you are a fellow of the Institute, meaning you come in and lecture to our students from time to time when you have time, so they get the best of the best. In fact, we also just signed up as a fellow Mike Hyatt, who's a friend of yours and mine, who runs MikeHyatt.com, and also Donald Miller, who runs StoryBrand. So we've got wonderful people teaching our students.
Well, you are definitely improving and upgrading your fellowship.
It was downhill after you, Steve.
And so you've got the counseling, and then the people that you're mentioning, I think, are part of the leadership aspect of it. And so if you are a leader or want to be a leader or a better leader, I can tell you, I don't know of any better place to go and study than right here.
Well, we're moderately priced. We make it work. It's biblically oriented. We use all the neuropsych that we study and I study for the research, and it's market skills based. Practical. When you get out in the market, you'll be ready to go.
Okay. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about this brand new book. It's launching today, People Fuel. Rarely do we turn over this much time to anybody, but John is us. He's been part of New Life for so long, and we raised our kids together. And it really has been an amazing relationship. First time I ever danced with my wonderful wife, Misty, John Townsend's band was playing. Pretty cool. Anyway, if you want to join us on the program, 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. And a gift of any amount, I'll send you this book on launch day. We'll be back right after this.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C. June 28th to the 30th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship, and then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Dr. John Townsend is our guest. His new book, People Fuel. I love this book. It's a beautiful book. And if you, any donation, any amount, call us right now, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And this is our way of saying thank you. It's a big thank you. In this wonderful book, John talks about relational nutrients. And he has 4 different quadrants. And I want you to talk about the first quadrant here before we go to phones. And it's this quadrant about being present.
Sure. The idea of relational nutrients comes from the world of science, Steve. We all take bionutrients these days. We take calcium and supplements and this sort of thing to stay healthy. And if you don't have enough calcium in your bloodstream, then you get osteoporosis, bone problems. If you don't have enough iron, you get anemia. Well, in the same way, God created what I'm calling relational nutrients, which don't come in the form of a pill. They come in the form of conversations from my brain to your brain and your brain to my brain, and they keep us healthy. There's 22 of them, and I have them in 4 quadrants. And the first quadrant of the relational nutrients is be present. And be present simply just means shut up and listen sometimes. Sometimes people are struggling, and instead of giving them 14 things to do and homework assignments, sometimes they need us to just be with them. Like, one of the things that Job's friends did that was really good, in the early parts of the book, it said they sat with him 7 days and 7 nights and did not speak a word to him, for they saw his pain was very great. Be present means to comfort others, to empathize, to attune to others, to contain their feelings, validate their feelings. When you do these sorts of things, you're telling them, I'm in the well with you. I'm in the well of pain with you, and people need us to be present sometimes. And we need others to be present with us.
Right. So you accept them. Mm-hmm. You attune with them.
Tune in.
And then you're validating this other person as a person and their experience, whether you agree or whatever. This validation is important.
Mm-hmm. Like, don't dismiss the feelings and say, just get over it. It means, hey, if you're having these feelings, you're overwhelmed. I want to hear about it. That's validation.
Mm-hmm. And then identification.
I've been there too. I've struggled too. Tell me more about it. We feel like we're not alone when people identify with us.
And then containment.
Sometimes I just need to vent. David vented to God in the Psalms. He said, hey, I'm the king, but I live in a cave. What's going on? Sometimes we just need to throw it out there and somebody say, I'm okay with you venting. It's good for us.
All right. And then the last word that you have here in this quadrant of relational nutrients of being present is comfort.
Well, we all have losses. We live in a world, unfortunately, with losses. People lose friends and relatives, and they lose jobs, they lose health, they lose relationships. Relationships break up, and we're sad. And one of God's strongest nutrients for us is to have comfort from each other when somebody just sits with us and says, I'm here in your loss. Yeah.
The good news, I've shared it before, is if anybody says anything to you that is judgmental or not comforting, there's a proverb that says, I believe it's 19:8, not sure, that you can hit them. A fool's mouth calls for blows, is what it says. So, and then because of the Bible, you can ask them to turn the other cheek if they're Christians, and then you can hit them again. We really do need to be there for people. We need to comfort them, be present, and not be so interested in sharing that little nugget that might really be insulting, judgmental, or just superficial.
And
rather
every
than
day
just
we
being-
need that for ourselves too. When people wake up now, they're going to the relational nutrients information, going, "What do I need? Do I need someone to be present, or do I need 4 steps of fixing my life?" Most of the time is just kind of be with me, please.
Amen.
We need it.
All right, and then don't be begging for somebody to be present, and then you run them off with your attitude once they are. Okay, let's go to the phones. 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. Let's go over here. Talk with right off the board is AJ, Woodstock, Georgia. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Okay. I was calling because my husband and I have been married for 26 years, and we're both Christians. And I found out recently that he's been secretly watching pornography, and objectifying women.
And what was your reaction, or how did you respond to that when you discovered it?
Devastated, upset, bitter, angry.
How long ago was that?
It's been almost 11 months now.
What did you require him to do?
I gave a few boundaries to not objectify women. I put filters on the phone, on the computer. He's seeing a therapist right now. He has a few accountability partners.
Okay.
But I don't see any changes or significant changes.
All right, John, what do you think here? I mean, she had some expectations. It hasn't produced the change.
Hey, Jay, first off, I am so sorry. The objectification is just soul destroying, and I'm sure that you feel it more than anyone because you should be cherished by him. Tell us what your question is.
Well, my question is, as a Christian, I'm trying to hang in there, but I'm just not healing. The trust has been totally destroyed. And even if he's around women or, goes to work or whatever, I cannot trust him. And I feel like I don't know how to be in a relationship now that I found out that there's no trust.
Couple of things about trust. Trust must be earned. It must not be assumed. Love is free, AJ. We're supposed to love everybody, even people who aren't lovable. We're supposed to love everybody. But trust has to be earned by behavior. You don't trust anybody who doesn't show what Jesus said, bring forth fruits, meet with repentance. If this behavior isn't changing, you don't trust him. The number one thing you need to do is to get him to a New Life weekend where he can work on the sexual issues. He'll get
Every man's battle. Yeah.
What did I say? The
Well,
Every Man's Battle part of New Life.
That's the beginning.
And here's the deal. What it'll do, AJ, if you can get him there, is that he will meet other men who have struggled and let down their wives in that way. He will meet facilitators who are trained extensively in this. He'll be getting Steve's teaching and all the other experts there, and he'll come away with a fire in his heart to say, I just don't need a bunch of boundaries and software around me. And we do. We need the boundaries and software. This stuff is like cocaine. But there's more than just me, being on a tether to my wife. I want to love her. I want to be healthy. I want to be like Jesus. This fire in my belly to be a healthy guy will come from that weekend. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, it really is. I think the beginning is him getting more help. And this is the best help in the least amount of time. So more help is needed. So encourage him.
He's seeing a therapist, and he has accountability partners, and he's
okay, but see, he's not, you haven't seen a change. So
he needs a breakthrough.
Ask him to go to this weekend.
And counselors love it. Counselors will send somebody and say, this once a week stuff, it's great, but you've got a crisis in your home. I want you to go to the weekend, get your breakthrough, and I'll help you with the follow up. It's just phenomenal.
Then he continues with his counselor and the accountability guys, and it really makes a difference. Then what I would want is, like this weekend, we're in D.C. for the Intimacy in Marriage weekend. And so then you both coming together, now you've got a chance to build it. Once he's not just dealing with kind of protecting himself, but he's dealing with the heart of the matter from the very beginning. How did he get in this kind of trouble? That's where we start. I'm really glad you called. I'm going to send you this book, People Fuel, and I believe it's really going to help. And then I'm going to send you the book Jason Martinkus and I put together called Worthy of Her Trust. And I think you should read it first, because it really does. It'll help you see the need for him to get the help that he needs, rather than just stay there and be the way it is, because it's just simply not enough. Anybody else, People Fuel is available. All you have to do, gift of any amount, you call us and we'll get that book to us. All right, get to it to you. All right, let's go over here to Rodney. Houston, Texas, KKHT. Hi, Rodney. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, very good.
What's going on?
Well, no, I'm calling concerning my marriage, 25 years in. Well, for my wife, maybe she'll say 14, 11 years ago. I mean, I was in an emotional affair. I mean, for this young girl, for maybe 2 months, it was just talks and text. And, well, I mean, she found out and everything. I mean, we saw our pastors, and, the counseling went real spiritual, where, I mean, it was mostly my side where I made the mistake. Then my wife, she took it that it was, that she wanted more, for me to, for me to say that, I did bad. She wanted to hear more than just, okay, it was something, and it was a mistake you made. She wanted to hear more than that. So, 11 years gone by, last in November, she decides to cut me off and say she don't want to do nothing to do with me. I mean, we still live together, but we're separated. Technically, we filed a divorce. It's still in the process this year. Well, my question is, I'm kind of hanging. I know I talked to her. I'm asking for forgiveness. We're talking about 11 years ago. She said she forgave me, but then again, she withheld all this inside of her about the betrayal. And, within the years, she would, I felt the rejection and everything. And when we come together and talk about this, she would always say that, didn't I kind of see the red flag where she was kind of rejecting me and intimacy and all that.
So what is your question for us then?
Well, what do I do? I've tried a lot. Counseling right now, we're in a little financial bind. I'm by myself in all this. I don't have no feedback from her. She has her heart so hard. I don't know what to do in this situation for myself.
Okay. John, what do you think?
Sure, Rodney. I'm sorry about the struggle. Can I give you? I've got a solution for you, but before I give you the solution, can I give you some tough love, buddy?
Yes.
When a guy who's been in an emotional affair says it was just talks and text, the word just you should never say again. Because just means no big deal. She's overreacting. I never touched the gal. And that's just really an injury to a woman emotional affair. So I want you to take the word. Next time you tell somebody, hey, it was talks and text, you don't say just, because it minimizes. And so I understand how your wife feels. I kind of understand that. Fair enough?
Also, just say this for others. A woman should never say that to a man either.
Nor the other way.
All I did was just text.
Nor the other way.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. So, second tough love, and I'll get to some good stuff, Rodney, but I just got to get through this first. The second thing is you said, "Gosh, I told her I was wrong, and she wanted more." Well, I can tell you what most spouses of an emotional affair want. They want more than, "Hey, I'm sorry, let's move on. What's for breakfast?" "Hey, I'm sorry. Why aren't you smiling?" And it sounds like you kind of did that. "Hey, I admit I'm wrong. Okay, you want to go for a drive?" That's not what they want. What they want is for someone to look at them with pain in their eyes and say, "I devastated you. And I hurt you, and it was all my fault, and I'm totally responsible." That's part one of the conversation, Rodney, is eyeball to eyeball. I'm so sorry. But on the other side of it is this. I want to sit down for an hour or two, and I got a notebook pad with me, and I want you to tell me everything I've made you feel. I want to know how you felt shamed. I want to know how you felt devalued, how you felt betrayed, how you felt like you were worthless. And I'm not going to interrupt you and say it wasn't that bad, you're overreacting. I'm going to say, I want to know more. I'm writing all this down. And you may not agree with everything your wife says, but I can tell you that's what she wants. Fair enough?
Yes.
All right. So we got to get through that part. Now we got to go to a break. We'll get the good stuff for you on the other side, but you got to deal with these two things first.
Really glad you called. Anybody else want to join us? 1-800-229-3000. Some of you, you're hearing this, and it's you. You had that affair. You minimized the impact. Maybe you even blame the other person for it happening. Maybe today's a great day to say, you know what? I need to quit blaming the other person. I need to quit minimizing. I need to come on board with some compassion and love, humility, willingness. Could change everything. We'll take a break. We'll come back. 1-800-229-3000. The author of People Fuel, Dr. John Townsend, with us today.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Rodney here is with us, Dr. John Townsend. And John, you want to finish up with Rodney here?
Yeah, Rodney, thanks for hanging in there. That was really courageous for you to do this. Now, you're in a pickle because, there's a divorce proceeding going on. Here's what I would do. I would have the talk that we talked about having with her. If she lets you, does she let you talk to her, or does she cut you off from all communication?
Well, she kind of gets upset. Concerning the situation, and when we bring up the situation, she kind of gets upset.
But she's talking to you.
She just wants to hear. Yeah, she talks to me. Yes.
All right. Then I would try to have that talk where you want to really apologize and hear how much you've hurt her. And if she says, I don't want to do that, then if you don't have the finances to have a session with a counselor, because that's the next step, is to think, then can I bring a counselor in? Because a lot of times a spouse that's been hurt, what they need to hear is, look, can we see a counselor even though you're leaving me? I want to know what I did wrong. I want to know what I can do better as a person. This isn't about trapping you to make you come back. A lot of times the spouse will go, I'll go for that reason, and then they get reattached because of the way the counselors do attachment work. If you can't afford a counselor, go to a big church in driving range of your home and tell them you're in a crisis and you need a pastoral counselor. But that's the way I would go. You need help, and you need somebody to support you as well as her.
Yeah, and let's see if there's any way you could do this, because this has really been pretty revolutionary for a lot of people, is when you say this, not only see a counselor, but just go to this one weekend with me. Let's see if we could get a scholarship for you, where you'd be saying to her, I have a scholarship for us for this weekend. If you're going to leave, please leave after you've done everything you can for us to try to save this marriage. And then, that's it. And then once she's there, it's pretty amazing the kind of change and transformation of a person's heart that occurs when everybody there, they're struggling together. So hold on. We're going to see if we can get a scholarship for you where you could literally say to her, here's this weekend, and we're going to be there in D.C. And I'm telling you, if you want a better marriage, if you want a great marriage, or if you need a marriage that needs, salvaging, 1-800-NEW-LIFE is the phone number to call, and we can help you. It's this weekend, Washington, D.C. Larry Sonnenberg's in the studio, and Larry, we were talking earlier about the exponential impact of one life changing. When people support us, they're not supporting a ministry, they're supporting the transformation of a life and lives to follow.
Absolutely, and I wanted to talk a little differently than usual. I usually come in here and I'll tell people about the match we need you to give. It'll double the money that New Life realizes, and that's all true, and we still need that.
And somebody has to say all that.
Yeah.
That's you.
But I just want people to realize that that's a small, confining view of what God's multiplication principles are throughout Scripture. He doesn't just double things, and it's not a ripple effect to everybody around him. Steve, you mentioned the ripple effect generationally at one point.
It really is true. They followed 1,200 descendants of one guy and the same amount from another. And one man who was a criminal, in his descendants, there were so many people in prison, so many crimes, murders, so few people ever going to any kind of school, so much failure. This other guy, he's a minister, and under him, his descendants, they come to Christ. They're missionaries. They're serving. They're running these major companies in America, and they're serving in government, all because he made one simple choice and changed everything for his life and those that followed. So we're not just talking about helping a family communicate better or something. We're talking about generations to come that will never be the same.
And I want to make clear that we aren't suggesting that you give to get when I read this next scripture, but you get in order to give. And the scripture, 2 Corinthians 9, verse 10, now he who supplies seed to the sower will also supply and increase your store of seed, and will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. That's what we're looking for. So if you believe in a ministry where lives are changed, and if you believe that God multiplies the factor of your giving and your goodness, please make a gift towards our matching fund. We're gaining on it. It's doing well, but we need to keep it going. And your giving is what empowers it. It opens things up for people. You just call us at 800-NEW-LIFE. You can go online to newlife.com, or you can drop a check in the mail to New Life.
Well, guys, conference to conference I go to that I speak at, and I'll just be signing books and stuff. People will say, New Life saved my life. It didn't just make me communicate better. It literally saved my life. It's really, really transformative.
It's a big deal.
It's what we're here for. And, like you say, Larry, you do get so much more back, but not in the form of money. It's fulfillment and being part of people's lives changing. If you want to put some money down expecting money back, we recommend go to Vegas. And if you win, tithe that money back to us. But
it's your $100 T-shirt, Steve.
Yeah, that's right. If you want to make a difference, you can support us. We'll send you John's book. If any gift of 25 or more, I'll send you his book and this amazing tote bag. It'll be yours. You put the book in the bag, and take it to the beach or the market, wherever. It's insulated. Yeah, look there. It's right in there.
There it is.
If you're
You can
watching
tote
this on
everything.
Facebook. It is a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous tote and the book. We'll talk more about the book in 1-800-229-3000.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, July 19th to the 21st. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Last year, after Every Man's Battle, I was so moved by the transformation that I saw not only in myself, but in the guys in our small group and the other people that were there and the stories that I heard, that I decided to go ahead and join Club New Life as a contributor to that.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
You guys are doing God's work here. You're restoring marriages. You're giving people hope. It's just been such a blessing to me, and I just wanted to encourage you all. When you see something good that God's doing, just jump on that and help support that.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433.
Give your support to them if you can, and just help them do what God's doing here in the world.
Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. Glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We've got some good news for you. You know, John and I were talking about how so often in a person's life, it doesn't work out the way that you thought it would or the way it was headed. Things happen. We're not in the Garden of Eden anymore. But you know what? It is never too late to start over with our Lord. And so, you know, a phone call could be the beginning of a total life transformation at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And you put on that phone call, you give us a gift of any amount. I'm going to send you this great book. It could be the very thing you need. Now, here's why. Because he's talking about people fuel, nutrients to the soul, or relational nutrients. And maybe you're not getting them. And this will help you figure out what's missing and what to do to put into yourself or get what you need to grow and find fulfillment. And then on that foundation, you rebuild the life that God has called you to. God is there. His promises never, ever change. All right, let's go back to the phones. 1-800-229-3000. Here's a call from Rachel, San Francisco, California, KFAX. Rachel, how are you?
Hello, I'm okay. How are you? Thank you all for all the work you do. I really appreciate it. Listen to it all the time. I found you when my husband passed away, and that's been about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
So I really appreciate it.
Thank you. What can we do for you today?
Well, this is related to, today is actually my would have been my 42nd wedding anniversary, so I'm a little bit emotional today also.
Sure.
But last night I received a text from a young woman that my husband befriended, and it was very, very harsh. My husband was helping her. She had come up, and she was clean from meth and alcohol for a couple years, and my husband had a tendency to take people under his wing, and she thought of him as her father. But the connection to me was not all that strong. When my husband passed away, she transferred that to me, and started calling me like godmother, mother, but I didn't feel that toward her.
Oh, okay.
And but I tried to stand there and support her.
Financially?
Took her calls when she was encouraged me to go back to school. She went back to school. Took her calls every semester when she wanted to drop out, and tried to talk her into staying in school.
So more encouraging than financial, right?
Yes. At first it was financial, but my sister said I should look online at codependency. So I did, and I thought, oh my goodness. And then I got your CDs on boundaries, which I have very poor boundaries. My husband had great boundaries. I don't. So I've been working on boundaries. When I put up boundaries, in fact, when I told her I thought my assignment was over when she graduated from college, that's when she started to be very harsh. And I also told her I couldn't afford to pass money her way. And that's been a couple years.
Okay.
Okay, so that's we see the reaction, and what's the question?
Yeah.
Her reaction.
No. We clearly we know that she's having a tantrum. Okay, we get the tantrum. What's your question for us that we can help you with? What's your question?
Well, I feel guilty, like I'm not being compassionate enough, or something, and I'm. It's hard for me to hold the boundary and not back off and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's all my fault." You know, I do really like her and even love her, not as a daughter, but as a friend. And so how can I stand firm and be strong? And it does hurt me when she says things like, well, I'm getting better, but she's jetting off on somebody else's ticket. I don't, her actions don't seem to show that. And I did mention that. I said, are you setting up something else? So maybe I'm too harsh, I don't know.
Yeah. Let me just jump in here, John, and just say this. When I go see my counselor, he says, let's be sure that our motive, our objective, and our goal is loving well. And so you'd have to ask, would it be a form of loving well to support, endorse, or even encourage someone to do something that is not good for you, good for them? In my mind, it isn't loving well. It's doing anything but being loving to respond to someone trying to shame you or put you down so that they can manipulate you. What do you think of that?
Yes, and when I stood up to her when she accepted airline tickets and things from someone else, I really felt like I couldn't go there. I couldn't support that.
Yeah.
And so So
what are you thinking, John?
Well, first off, are you a Bible-believing person?
I am. I'm a Christian, Bible-believing Christian.
All right, so that when you get off the line, I want you to check out Galatians 6, verses 1 through 5. Just, write that down somewhere. Because Paul tells us there, he says, everybody's got to bear their own load. Everybody's got to bear their own load of their sorrow and their financial issues and their student loan issues and all that. Our emotions and our lives and our jobs, and that's our load. We're supposed to get help, but it's basically ours. And so, to Steve's point, the Bible teaches we're supposed to help each other, but not enable each other. So you're kind of getting, because you've got sort of fuzzy boundaries, you're still working your boundaries, you're not sure when you're supporting this gal or enabling her, but it sounds pretty enabling. So that's number one. That'll help you to feel firm. But secondly, you got to have some boundary gals around you who say, like every single day, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. We love you. You're strong. And put your, take care of yourself and then give money to other places. But she's got, anybody that has a tantrum when you love them and send them money and then you say the money assignment's over and they have a tantrum, she's telling you, I'm entitled. I don't really want you. I want the money. So she's disqualified. Make sure every day a great woman is telling you you're doing the right thing, and that will strengthen your decision making.
Oh, okay. That sounds great. So I need to stand firm in this?
Absolutely.
I don't see any information the other way.
Here's the other thing you need to do.
I'm afraid of her as well. She has, the tie I have to her is she was helping when my husband was passing away. So she's got a tie up. And so my grief kicks in also.
When you said I'm afraid, what are you afraid of?
Well, I'm afraid, she's so harsh. I'm afraid of what she might do or say.
Can you tell us what that means?
About me that may not be true.
Like, I mean, if she's going to talk bad about you to her friends, who cares? People do that with God all the time. If she's going to come knock on your door with a gun, that's different. So what are you afraid of so we can help you?
I'm a little bit afraid of that.
Both things I said?
She will cross the line. She was so harsh in the text last night.
Do you feel like you might be in? You mean now? There's kind of people's gossiping, which I said, don't worry about it. That happens to God all the time. No, but then we're afraid people are going to do something mean physically. Are you afraid of that? Can you be specific about your fear?
I am afraid of that.
Okay, then you have to call the police.
Okay.
That's what they're for. Is if we're afraid somebody is violent, might do something hard for us, then you call the police and say, I don't know how much merit this has, but I want to let you know this. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
You need protection, and they'll check it out and see how much reality is, but this is beyond you if you're really afraid of something physical.
Yeah. I think it is. I want to keep her at a distance, and so she won't get violent, but that just prolongs everything, I think.
Yep, you're right. It's time to nip it in the bud so you can have a nice life.
Okay.
Sometimes a person like her, all they need to hear is the limit.
Yep.
You're afraid to give them a limit, and they know that. And when a person like her, most of the time, if they're not a convicted killer or something, most of the time when you say, I'm not going to be able to help you anymore, there's nothing here anymore for you, they actually believe that.
And look elsewhere.
And they go elsewhere. That's right. When you set that limit, as John is saying, when you set that limit, if there's any kind of fear, then you need to have already talked to the police and you tell that person.
She said, we need to talk. She's asked me for the first time if I would consider myself a sex addict. I thought it was just about admitting the things that I had done wrong. I never had a clue that it was about redeeming our story. I thought it was just about coming clean on what I had done. I had no idea how to help her with her pain. She was a mess, I was a mess, and we got divorced. Going to EMB, surrounding myself with these other men, they accepted me for who I was and what I had done, but they challenged me to step up and do better. They'll be around other men who are not just pointing the finger, but willing to get in and wade through it with them, get in the trenches. They'll get hope from this workshop. Take my sweet wife and my story. We were divorced, remarried, and on our way to what I think will be the sweetest years of our lives. It's no longer simply about surviving. For the first time ever, we're thriving, we're enjoying where we're at.
Hey, listen, if you're struggling, we want to see you at the workshop. Give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800. New Life.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We've been talking about John's book. It launches today. Boom! It's out there. You can get it on Amazon. I'd rather you not. I'd rather you get it right here from New Life. And it's got 4 quadrants in there as part of all the different things that can really help you. And the first one we talked about was being present. Second quadrant is conveying the good. John, let's do that, and then maybe we'll have time for another call. I'm not sure, but conveying the good, what's that?
It's a special category of relational nutrients, Steve, where if someone's down, they need like a shot of sort of like endorphins in their system to make them get up again. For example, some people are discouraged, and they had a bad day, maybe have a fight with a spouse or somebody they're dating, or maybe their kids, or maybe something at work. And sometimes you just need to bring a person back up. For example, encouragement is a nutrient. Just telling somebody, I'm with you. Or another one is respect. I really respect how you're handling this with integrity. Or hope. I see in the future you're going to do well because of your character. Or affirmation. Affirmation is the long-lost relational nutrients. Just telling somebody, I noticed yesterday how hard you work. I noticed how resilient you are. I saw how patient you were. I saw how caring you were. Affirmations like that convey the good, and people go, I can make it another day because you just kind of filled up my tank. It's a very, very strong category.
Oh, it's so wonderful. So, convey the good. Back in yesterday, I called the woman that hired me in 1977 into my first job in a psychiatric facility, and we had the best conversation. I don't know what it did for her, but boy, did it ever do some great stuff.
How did you feel leaving that conversation? Did you feel down and oh gosh, look at my big hard date, or did you come away sort of like, lifted up?
Oh, I was so just so blessed from it, and just couldn't thank her enough for not filing charges when I stole those pills from the cabinet, and she kept me on, and look what happened. So we just had the best time.
Steve, we got to minimize the drains in our life. After we meet with them, we got to take a nap and maximize the gains in our life. The people that we come away feeling like we can win the world.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're out there throwing eggshells all around for people trying not to crack, break, step on, just get some help. You can do better than that. All right, let's go to one final caller. If you want to join us, we're in the studio for 3 hours today. 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. Here's a final call here, but if you're on hold on, we'll get it the next time. Or call us now or in an hour, 1-800-229-3000. Okay, let's talk with Andy here from Stanley. Andy's from Stanley, New Mexico. If I could get him to come up here, I can't seem to do it. Okay, here we go. Andy, don't have a lot of time, but I did want to get to your call.
My wife has had a very hard life.
Okay.
She, her father and mother lived with her grandmother in her grandmother's house, and her father died when she was 4, causing her mother to go to work and leave her with her grandmother, who was very emotionally abusive. And she told me when we were first engaged she had been raped. We currently live in a difficult situation in a large building with most of our household goods packed for moving, and have been trying to move out of state for about 3 years now. But things keep coming up, like her fracturing her pelvis and then needing a total hip replacement. And for the last month, she has been suffering with a digestive disorder our doctor thinks might be irritable bowel syndrome. And we are both tired and seem unable to accomplish the work we need to do with any vigor.
Okay.
And she is forbidden to drive, so most things are on me. And
what's the question for us then, buddy? It really sounds rough.
How can we handle this situation more easily?
Yeah. And then just based, and I'm going to send you John's book here, but based on his book, what's the good stuff coming into your life? Anybody helping you in any way? with some good, positive stuff. The good coming
Well,
in.
we have some friends from church who are coming over tomorrow to share barbecued burgers and such with us.
Good, good. And are you getting any kind of counseling for you?
I haven't been.
Okay. Let's see what we can do for you in that realm. John, from your book, People Fuel, I mean, here's an example. I mean, it's just taken everything out here. What could you say to him that would help?
Andy, there's a principle that's true just in life as well as in, these kind of struggles. And it's that the greater the need, the greater the resource. The greater the need we have, the greater the resource we need, whether we're trying to build a building or trying to, earn money. You guys are in a crisis, and your wife is suffering deeply from the past as well as the present, and you're kind of out of gas. This is the time for you to move. I'm glad you're having, some time with some people coming over to the house, but you probably need like 5 times that much support. So I would go to your church and say, my wife and I are in a crisis. We can hardly function in terms of energy and getting things done and decisions we need to make and emotionally. So we need help. We need people coming over. We need people mentoring us. We need pastors, whatever you guys have. I would probably ask the church if people could just talk to you and support you, whatever the ministries are, probably 1 time every day, if not more, to get you the help you need. And Andy, it needs to be emotional help, that's category 1, spiritual help, category 2, and practical help. Moving stuff around, emotional, spiritual, and practical. So it's time to ask a lot.
I really agree with that, and I hope and pray that we could help you, and maybe somebody's got some scholarship money for you, and we can be an encouragement to you. But here is the reality of life. We get to this place, we are empty. Our reserves are used up. You could be the most wonderful human being ever, but you're going to come to a place where the reserves are all gone. And you want to do something before that time, because that's when you start doing something really stupid, we'll say. So get the help you need before it's too late, before all the reserves have run out. That's what we want to
Steve,
see
it's so true that God Himself set up a system where He says sometimes He's not enough. It's not just people say, I need to pray more, read my Bible. Absolutely, we need those all day. But there are hundreds of verses that say God set up a system where we need not just the vertical, God and the Bible and prayer. We need the horizontal, all the way from Genesis 2, where it says it's not good that we be alone, all the way to 1 Peter 4:10, where it says we are the stewards of His manifold grace. We're supposed to find people that can give us grace horizontally, just like God gives it vertically. So don't just do this alone.
That's right. And I was preaching this weekend on Colossians 1:15, where it says that Jesus is the visible image of the invisible God. Your Father is not, but sometimes we get in trouble because we think Dad is. You're not either. You have limitations. You're not God. And when we honor God by admitting limitations, then we get the help that we need. And we humble down, so to speak, and we go after and we resolve it. You know what? We believe that Jesus is the answer here. But sometimes Jesus' answer is, hey, confess your sins to one another. Pray for each other.
Find some Jesus with skin on.
That's right. That is right. If you need some help, you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to see you this weekend in D.C. at the Intimacy and Marriage Weekend, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Gift of any amount, I'll send you this amazing book, People Fuel. It's beautiful. It's perfect for you. And $25 or so, I'll send you the tote bag and this book, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, our way of saying thank you. Hold on. If you want to join us for the next program, John's going to be here. He gets better as you go along, too. So 1-800-229-3000. We got 2 more quadrants we're going to talk about. We love you. Thank you for supporting us. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.